to children as they express their need to go to the bathroom. This helps to prevent accidents, and in the prevention of accidents, that also stops the spread of germs. So if you as a caregiver can respond promptly, take the child to the bathroom, wash their hands, and also to remember to wash your hands as well. Now let's see how that works in real practice as we watch one of our caregivers demonstrate a diaper change. We do recommend using disposable items rather than washcloths. She's going to put on her gloves, and it's appropriate to use gloves, but gloves do not take the place of hand washing. And in case there's a messy diaper, it protects the caregiver's hands. Yeah. At this point in time, she's going to remove her gloves, and she's putting all of her things in a central area, holding him down. It's important if you use cloth diapers or if you're toileting that you can dump the contents but not wash the diapers, because the contents can be dumped in the stool and then the diaper can be placed in a bag. She's using disposable diapers this time. The first thing that she's going to do after she gets him ready is that she will wash his hands. So she'll wash his hands with soap and water. She's making sure that the water's not too hot. Then at this time, she'll dispose of her dirty items, sanitize her table, mist it on, uses her paper towel to kind of smear it around so it can air dry. And you notice that she's washing her hands thoroughly, even up on her wrists, lathering them with soap and water. We recommend about 10 to 15 seconds of hand washing and then drying with a paper towel. She's doing a really good job. Now let's review about our diaper changing area.
It should be adjacent to or near the sink with a clean, moisture-proof surface. It should be sturdy and maintained in good repair. It should be a minimum of 28 inches above the floor and kept free of all objects, except those used for diaper changing.
As we watched our caregiver change a diaper and wash her hands, now let's go and watch the importance of having a child wash their hands. It's very important as caregivers to make sure that the children wash their hands frequently, and they must do it in the same order as we do our own hands.
Now, let's cover when caregivers should wash their hands. Remember, it's important to wash your hands with soap and running water before handling food, before feeding children or eating, after diapering or toileting, after touching or cleaning up body fluids, including wiping noses, after handling or feeding pets, and after playing outdoors or in sand or water, and before medication is dispensed.
We're now going to be focusing on the importance of immunizations in your child care facility. Child care facilities are required by law to have the children have their immunization records when enrolling. The State Health Department provides this booklet that demonstrates what immunizations the children need. Also included is a poster that can be placed on your bulletin boards for the parents as a reminder for their children's immunizations. And the Department of Human Services provides forms that you may record their immunization records upon. This shows a completed immunization record, and it's important that the child care staff review these periodically to make sure that the immunization records are up to date. When we talk about the teacher's role in the importance of hygiene, infection control, and immunizations, we also know that the teachers are very important in the role of assessment of the children. As the children enter the facility each morning, the caregiver is the very first one to look at that child and to determine whether or not they are ill. If the children are ill, it's very important that they be separated from the rest of the group and that their parents be notified. We'll also be looking at some diseases that you're required by law to report to your local and state health department.
Those diseases are hepatitis, meningitis, shigellosis, giardiasis, measles, rubella, whooping cough, tuberculosis, E. coli 0157H7, and salmonellosis, or any Haemophilus influenza invasive disease.
And as we also think about these diseases, it's important for us to remember that as we move into the next area, which we'll be talking about, which will be our food preparation area, that we want to remember health and hygiene and the importance of prevention of disease in those areas as well. So let's move to the kitchen area. As we look at the food storage areas, it's important to store food in containers that have lids and are closed and that are sealed, and also that the food is stored up and off the floor. Also in the kitchen area, we want to look at the hand washing facilities. Sometimes staff come into the kitchen area and the very first thing that they need to do is to wash their hands. There's a separate hand wash sink facility that can be utilized. That staff have adjacent soap and paper towels so they can begin to wash their hands before any food preparation at all. Sometimes as staff, even the children will come into the kitchen facilities to also do food preparation. And it's important for the children to wash their hands as well. In this particular kitchen, we see that they have 3 sinks that they can wash, rinse, and sanitize. They also have a dishwasher that can be utilized. In the kitchen area, the most important thing that you can remember to do is wash your hands. Food storage is important. It's important to thaw food in the refrigerator and not out on the cabinets, and it's important to keep foods at their proper temperature. Health departments have local county sanitarians that child care facilities have access to, and they come and inspect the kitchen areas, and they are also an excellent resource for your questions that you might have. The DHS licensing standards for child care are very specific for the administration of medications. It's very important to remember that medications be stored in an area that is out of reach of children, and also that medications be stored away from food. And it's important to remember that toxics also be stored away from food. As you see in this kitchen area, they have a cabinet that's specifically for their medications. The first thing that we want to remember is that medications, when they are given, we need to have the parent's permission, and it does need to be a signed permission. Frequently, you will find that a clipboard such as this may be at the front desk, or it may even be in the kitchen area for the parent to sign that they are giving permission for the child's medication. It should include the child's name and the name of the medication and the amount to be given, as well as the parent's signature. Medications should be stored in their original container, and they also, which includes like it is on this prescription, with the child's name and the amount. If you're giving an over-the-counter medication, then it's important to just label the medication with the child's first and last names. As we move to the refrigerator area, there are some medications that are stored in the refrigerator area. To keep the medications in a container such as this prevents, like if they would spill over, then the medication would flow into the container and not onto food. These medicines also have the child's name and they're labeled and in the original container.